The unipolar era led by the United States is fading, replaced by a multipolar world marked by shifting alliances and renewed great power competition. The economic rise of Asia, realignments in the Middle East, and fractures in the post-war order all signal this transformation. Amid this turbulence, Russia is reviving the Russia-India-China, or RIC trilateral grouping, not just as a diplomatic gesture, but as a strategic pivot away from the West. The war in Ukraine has deepened global divisions, with Russia seeking new partners as it faces unprecedented Western sanctions and isolation. For Moscow, the RIC is a lifeline, a way to build alternative systems for trade, investment and security, challenging Western dominance. The ambition is to create a bloc that can counterbalance the G7 and reshape international rules. For China and India, the calculation is more complex, balancing opportunity with risk. The RIC's revival reveals the intricate dance of national interests and historical rivalries in today's diplomacy. Understanding Moscow's push for RIC offers a crucial lens on the broader shifts in global power. This is a story of ambition, desperation, and the quest for relevance in a world in flux. The RIC concept dates back to the late 1990s, when Russian Foreign Minister Yevgeny Primakov envisioned a strategic triangle to balance American dominance. At the time, Russia was recovering from post-Soviet turmoil, China was rising economically, and India was cautiously liberalizing. The first RIC meeting in 2002 was tentative, focused on broad principles like multilateralism and respect for international law. Over 2 decades, RIC evolved as an informal dialogue, not a formal alliance, with regular meetings on issues from counterterrorism to economic development. Yet, deep mistrust between India and China, rooted in border disputes and strategic competition, has always limited real cooperation. Russia often tried to bridge the gap, but fundamental tensions persisted. As a result, RIC remained more a symbol of multipolar aspirations than a decisive geopolitical force. Now, Russia is determined to change that. Russia's 2022 invasion of Ukraine and the resulting Western sanctions forced Moscow to pivot rapidly toward Asia. Cut off from Europe and the US, Russia seeks new markets, technology, and diplomatic allies, making RIC a survival strategy. Sanctions have crippled Russia's economy, pushing it to reroute energy exports to China and India, often at a discount. This creates a risky dependence on China, which Russia hopes to offset by strengthening ties with India through RIC. Diplomatically, RIC offers Moscow a platform to show it's not isolated and still influential among major powers. The Kremlin now sees its future in Asia, embracing a Eurasian vision over Western integration. RIC is the cornerstone of this new strategy, a non-Western bloc that challenges the US-led order. For Russia, RIC is no longer optional, it's essential. Regular meetings and joint statements help Moscow project strength and legitimacy. The RIC is Russia's bid for relevance in a world where old alliances have crumbled. India's role in RIC is pivotal and complex. Unlike Russia and China, India pursues multi-alignment, maintaining strong ties with the West while preserving its historic partnership with Russia. For Moscow, India is the balancing force that prevents RIC from becoming a mere Sino-Russian axis. Including India helps Russia avoid overdependence on China and positions Moscow as a diplomatic bridge. For India, RIC participation preserves strategic autonomy and reassures Russia of its continued partnership, crucial for defense cooperation. The RIC also gives India a direct channel to both Russia and China, useful for managing regional security issues. Despite ongoing border disputes with China, RIC keeps dialogue open and offers India leverage on the world stage. India's cautious engagement lends credibility to RIC and helps Russia manage its complex relationship with China. China's approach to RIC is shaped by both shared interests and deep rivalries. Beijing values any platform that challenges US dominance and promotes a multipolar world, making RIC attractive in theory. However, China's tense relationship with India, marked by border disputes and India's participation in the Quad, limits real partnership. For China, RIC is a low-cost way to support Russia diplomatically without fully committing to a deeper alliance. Beijing will participate in RIC meetings and joint statements, but fundamental problems with India persist. China sees RIC as a useful tool to manage ties with Russia and signal displeasure with the West, not as a substitute for its own global ambitions. The pace and depth of RIC cooperation will remain limited by these underlying tensions. For now, China's involvement is pragmatic, not passionate. For Russia, a revitalized RIC directly addresses its strategic challenges. It offers Moscow a way to expand influence in Asia and reposition itself as a central player, not a peripheral one. Economically, RIC can help Russia build new trade and investment corridors, bypassing Western sanctions and creating a resilient, non-Western ecosystem. The grouping could accelerate alternative payment systems, energy projects, and trade in national currencies. Diplomatically, RIC gives Russia a platform to push for reforms in global institutions and challenge Western narratives. Its informal, flexible nature allows cooperation without binding commitments, keeping both India and China engaged. For a diplomatically isolated Russia, even a loose coalition is valuable. RIC enhances Russian prestige and opens up new economic and strategic opportunities. It's a pragmatic response to Russia's urgent need for allies. Can RIC become a true force in global affairs, or is it destined to remain a paper tiger? On paper, a united RIC would be a geopolitical giant, commanding vast resources and influence. But deep India-China rivalry and diverging national interests make a cohesive alliance unlikely. Russia seeks to break isolation, China pursues its own ambitions, and India guards its autonomy. Cooperation will likely be limited to areas of mutual interest, not a comprehensive alliance. RIC will grow more visible, with more meetings and statements, but won't become a NATO-style bloc. Its real significance lies in what it represents, the shifting tectonic plates of global power. RIC is a symptom of a changing world, not yet its cause. The future remains uncertain, but the ambition is clear.